Basically, what's your thoughts on the president's proposal to limit payments to $500,000 in gross salary?
Well, I told the president, I told the secretary, and I told Joe Biden and some others something that might surprise you, that I was willing to go along with this, that I was willing to put this in the budget, and I was willing to change the law so that people that had over $500,000 of gross income would not be able to get direct payments, provided that we extended that to everybody in the United States for any government program, including the banks. So, and that would be a good trade-off. I mean, I'd give up the direct payments if we could get that provision in the law, and we could probably live with that. But this is a very stupid idea. I don't know who dreamed this up. I think somebody over in OMB. But the other good thing about this, there are so many different iterations of payment limits, and I just told the secretary at noon, we made the biggest change in payment limits in the history that we've ever done in this farm bill. It wasn't everything that everybody wanted, but it was as far as we could get the Southerners to go without having an open revolt. And that's, around this place, the best you can do sometimes. So I told the secretary at noon, if you would be doing a huge change in policy if you just implement aggressively what's in the law. Actively engaged has been in the law for what? How long?
1987.
87. Never really been implemented. We got rid of the triple entity rule. So there's plenty of work to do just implementing the changes that we made in the Farm Bill. And in my position is that that's what we should do before we get into any other debate. Let's implement what we got. Let's see what happens. Let's see who ends up getting what. And, we're hoping to get a lot of non-farmers out of the system. That was, I would have liked to have seen us gone further than we did in getting non-farmers out of the system. But we're going to, we put tighter controls on them than we did on farmers. But it's kind of like the country of origin labeling. Did that end up getting done perfect? No. But, I think that those of us that have been involved in this have had direct enough discussions with the players that we're going to see 90% or better of the meat labeled in the USA label. And before we go out, and I didn't want this thing get delayed another year or two trying to make something perfect instead of something pretty good. So let's let the thing go into effect. Let's see what happens, and then we can decide if it's not working the right way. Then we can go in and make some other changes. So, I don't know. Apparently, some bean counters over at OMB or whoever it is, some pollster that. So I think if you got a $100 cow dairy, you're probably going to have over 500,000 gross, right? So you probably surprised the guy that has a 100 cow dairy in Minnesota that he's a multi-millionaire agribusinessman, but apparently he is.
Chairman Peterson mentioned Cool and about the pressure put on the packers who've always opposed it. And I think they've always thought Farmers Union had big horns. We breathed fire. But when it comes down to a choice, when all this controversy broke down, whether they wanted to go see Collin Peterson or us, they chose us. Because he told them exactly what they needed to do and made that point that, look, here was what we all agreed to. This was the intent of the legislation. Let's get it done. I think we owe him a big round of applause. Well, Mr. Chairman, I know you've had a long day, and we appreciate every time. I don't care if it's a fly-in, a convention, two people meeting back in Minnesota. Chairman Peterson has always been there to listen to the members of Farmers Union. And not only does he listen, he takes it back, and he doesn't give up until he gets a resolution to these real challenges we face. I've never known anyone more persistent. When he said he comes back after Christmas, he literally means the day after. He probably doesn't go home until the day before. But he works it as hard and as efficiently as anyone. You might note